Was using a polystyrene box as a catch box. Going, look at all that brood. See how it shines up, almost like a bright. Hey guys, so in recent times, the past couple of months, we've been experimenting with a few different hive options, as I'm sure you've seen. And one of them that we looked at trying was using a polystyrene box as a catch box. The reason we thought to try this and experiment is number one, because of the cost effectiveness of it. This polystyrene box was only 80 Rand, and then obviously you've got to put the frames in. So we caught a swarm in here and we reboxed it. And so what we thought of doing is just explaining some of the pros and cons that we found of this box. So first of all, the box wasn't exactly the right size. So we actually had to cut out a hole on each side to fit the frames in and then tape it closed. So that was one thing that made it a little bit more tricky when we had to rebox the hive. What we did was we put 2 holes in the box, one on this side for the bees to come in and another one on the opposite side. And the bees actually made the holes bigger. So they ate away at the size of the holes, and they also ate a couple of extra holes in. Obviously they needed additional ventilation. One of the big pros that we found is in this box, it took a very short time for the bees to build a lot of comb. So within 2 weeks, they built 3 frames of brood, and they were really strong. So the insulation in here is obviously quite optimal, especially when there's colder spells. The bees don't get as cold as they would have done in a normal brood box or a normal catch box. So there are some adjustments we need to make to this, because the reboxing of it with all these parts that had to come out and whatever made it a little bit more challenging. But overall, I think a really good cost-effective way to catch bees. We might do a few more and possibly look at maybe getting a slightly bigger box so that the frames fit more easily inside. But this is also very light, so if you're trying to put it up in a high place, you don't have the weight of the wood being another factor for you. So overall, I think a really good idea, and we will definitely be reboxing this, rebaiting this one and putting it out to catch. But let me know what you think of this. And one of the things we must remember as beekeepers is we must never stop innovating and trying new different ways of doing things, obviously within reason and making sure that the bees are still safe and happy. But trying new things is the way we learn new things about the bees and other ways to do things. So
what about rats?
Yes, so that's another thing. Obviously, with the bees being able to eat holes in it, if you have a problem with rats or something like that, that might also pose a problem for the bees, if the rats are able to eat their way in there. But we had this quite high up, so not a risk to have rats going in there. But I think if you're having them on the floor or something like that, you might have a bigger issue. And
then possibly also being a bit too light, possibly if you have it on a roof for catching, it could blow away.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, you've got to take all these things into account. Also, if you were going to strap it down or strap it into a tree, it would be fine. But if you had it dangling in a tree, because it's so light, if it's very windy, it might blow out. So you definitely have to keep that in mind if you're going to use it. We taped it together so that it wouldn't fly away. But again, you know, that could be a risk. But yeah, you can have a look and see exactly how it was put together. So we would pull the frames out this way and then out. So it made it a little bit more tricky. But I think overall it was a success. We caught bees, they built up well, and we reboxed them. So yeah, I think it's not a bad option. Okay, let's have a look at the video of us reboxing the colony that was in this box into another new brood box. Let's, if you've got any comments, if you've got any questions, pop them down on the comments as we go. Okay, so first of all, remember, if you're working at night, the best thing to use is a red light. And if it's cold, like it was on this day, you want to try and work as quickly as you possibly can, so that you're not letting the bees get too cold. Right, so as you can see, Brian has got his box ready with all the frames in. Obviously not a full box of frames, because he's going to move some from here into there. He separated the frames, some either side, making space for where he'll put the brood in the middle. Okay, then having a sharp knife available to cut he cuts off the sides of the tape to just open everything up. All right, I think one of the main things is always to be prepared. Make sure you've thought of all the stuff you need, because you don't want to halfway through reboxing have to get up and go and get something else. So he's tapping the bees off that are on the lid, and there you can see the bees beautifully on top of the frames. I would have cut all the pieces that I needed to on the tape before opening the lid, but it's a learning curve, just understanding how best to work with these new design boxes. Yeah, he's having a bit of trouble there getting this top piece off. Remember, the bees have also properlized everything together, so it's not just a quick, easy easy fix. And the bees are walking all over his hand, so it's making it a bit more challenging as well. Yeah, but once the tape is off, it all comes away quite easily. So exciting to see so many bees in a box that's only so young. Wonderful. There you can see how he's opening up this side panel here to access the frames. And obviously just getting a bit of height to it makes it a bit easier. There you can see the frames beautifully. So this held 6 frames, which makes it slightly bigger than a normal catch box, which also gives you an opportunity to catch a larger swarm. So that's always good to keep in mind. You can see he's a bit like, how do I get this out now? Having a bit of frustration there. But once the first frame is out, they come out very easily. You can see that first frame has only got some bees on, no comb built on there or anything. And he's making some more space because he thought that there were only going to be 5 frames, but it ended up being 6. Okay, so the next one on, you'll see now, wow, so nice to see the bees and the comb. Nice little bit of comb there with some nectar that they're building. Oh, that's really cool. He's just checking to make sure everything is where it should be as well. Remember, as we send colonies off to other places, we want to make sure that they're healthy before we do so. So we always check every frame. Next frame, there you see how brightly the brood shines up under the red light. Unlike the honey, which under the red light actually looks quite dull. So it's very easy to see, and loads of bees on there, as you can see. Nice size colony. Fantastic. Oh, and the bees are stinging his fingers, so Brian's flicking them off. Oh, that's the thing. Whenever it's dark, they're just going to walk and sting because they can't see so nicely. The next frame in is a nice full frame. You can see it, they almost have built to the end of that. A little bit more tricky to get out because they've properlized it. But once it's loose, it comes out easy peasy.
22 days old.
22 days. Yeah, that's not bad going. Look at all that brood. See how it shines up? Almost like a bright yellow coloring under the red light. And again, he's checking for eggs, larvae, making sure it's all healthy. It's more difficult to see on the camera, but when you've got your red light, you'll be able to see it nicely. Okay, now we're on the second last frame. And look at that again. Lovely brood pattern. It's all looking very healthy. And loads of bees. Yeah, so that's really, really nice. So there's only one more frame to go. Making space again, moving frames. We don't want to bump any bees and kill them unnecessarily as you're reboxing. So it's important to give yourself some space. Okay, last frame coming out. And that one also, a lot of brood on there. So look at that. Nice and big. So basically it's 5 frames fully, 4 frames fully built out, just about. And then 1 with just a small bit of comb. So that's really good going for 21 days.
22 days.
22 days. Brilliant. Okay, so now we've got to, all the bees that are left inside the cooler box, this one, need to be bumped off into the box. So the first bump is fine, but the second bump you have to be careful because now there's loads of bees on the frames that you don't squash those bees as you bump it. You'll see Brian moves the container in a different way so that he doesn't knock it the same way. Okay, brilliant. And there you can see most of the bees are in the new box, and now he'll replace the frames and close it up. So I mean, not bad going. It took about 6 minutes to rebox that. So yeah, that's really good timing if you consider the amount of time that you would normally spend on a box. That's pretty good going. Well done, Brian. And then you make sure that there's space on both sides of the box for ventilation and close it up. And then the following evening, that hive is going to out to a client. He's putting in a hive beetle trap just in case, and he made sure that all the frames are straight as well. That's quite important. And then there's a pollen patty that's also being placed on top of the brood so that they get a bit of a supplement before they head off. Cool. But I think all in all, fantastic. If we could catch lots of swarms and do them all in 22 days like that, then I think this box will be a full-on success. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like and subscribe to our channel so that you can learn new things about bees all the time and see what our journey is like in South Africa with our beekeeping.